Well, I'm Tim Brandewey. I'm the Emergency Operations Manager for Fayette County, and we are entering the month of March, which is annually our Severe Weather Preparedness Month. There's a good reason for that. This time of year, as we transition from winter into spring, there's a lot of turbulent weather, and unfortunately, sometimes it does lead to destructive straight-line wind thunderstorms and also tornadoes. I would say that the best advantage we have nowadays in preparation for tornadoes and severe weather is the improvement in technology. I've been on the job here for about 17 years. And over the years, I have noticed how much better the forecasting, the tools to disseminate danger or warning information can be. It's a tricky time of the year because a lot of times when we have that kind of destructive weather, it happens during the overnight time, so a lot of people are asleep. And so what I'd like to mainly point out is some of the information sources, especially that can aid citizens in being prepared for weather. Obviously, the local news and weather forecasts. The Division of Emergency Management also has a Lex Alert system, which allows people to sign up for custom warnings. It's really not going to be a surprise normally that we have destructive weather coming. As I said, the forecasting and the technology and our linkages with the National Weather Service, we're pretty good at narrowing down time frames where we're going to be at the greatest risk. Especially during the overnight hours, some of the best information sources, I think, first of all, is to have a NOAA weather radio in your home. Sign up for Lex Alerts because in the middle of the night, most people obviously aren't going to be watching TV. So that is probably the best heads up someone's going to have that a destructive storm is approaching. As you prepare for Severe Storms Month, it's important to have a plan for your home and a plan at work. The most important thing really is having good information sources, of which we've outlined a few, and also have a plan for if a tornado warning is declared. And the difference between a warning and a watch is a watch means the conditions are right for destructive weather, but watches can be 10 hours long, so it's kind of difficult to necessarily stay focused 100% of the time, but it alerts you to start thinking about preparation. And as part of your plan, you should have a shelter area in your home identified. Ideally, basements, if you can get underground, is the best thing. If you are in the type of dwelling that doesn't have a basement, the most important thing to do is get as far away from any outside exposures to the weather. That's doors, windows. So normally you go into interior hallways, bathrooms, because what you want to get away from is potential damaging debris. The majority of injuries that we see during these destructive weather events actually are what we call from missile hazards. In other words, glass or other things of that sort. So you want to get as far away from the outside as you can. And when you go there, make sure you've got a charged phone or a charged weather radio so you can hear updates from the city and from local news sources. And again, because this happens in the overnight periods a lot, I highly recommend a weather radio. Personally, things that I do when I know severe weather like that is coming is I look around my property, try to identify things that could get picked up by the winds and thrown around. Lawn furniture, trampolines are a biggie. I've got kids and grandkids. I've had a couple trampolines get airborne, so I usually flip mine upside down, maybe wait on them. But the most important thing is have a good mechanism to get updates. If you're out traveling in your vehicle and tornado warnings declared, or you observe dangerous conditions like that, obviously the best thing to do is get your car into a solid shelter somewhere if you can. If you're hung out on the road, it's actually safer to get out of the car and get to the lowest piece of ground you can find, whether it's a culvert or a drainage ditch. I know a lot of people think that hiding under underpasses or overpasses is a good idea. It's really not. It kind of forms like a wind tunnel. So the other biggest advantage I think we all have nowadays is this, smartphone. I can look at the radar on this. I can tell almost, to the 20 minutes, when a storm is going to hit us. This is a very unpredictable time of year. I think that's kind of the point. I know we've just come out of an ice storm and snow, but this is that transition period, and March, April is a really vulnerable time for us, and we can get very violent thunderstorms that can turn into tornadoes pretty quickly.